I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Welcome to another episode of the Apocalypse. I am your guide, Nicholas. Well, it appears that image is everything, especially when it comes to the beast and artificial consciousness. Very dangerous stuff. Yes, there's something I've been contemplating the past few days, and I've had to brush up on my wisdom, my source of wisdom, and what's going to happen next. The next two things that are supposed to happen is blasphemy of God, his tabernacle, and all that, and those that are in heaven. If this person is who I think they are, then after that, whatever that is, there's supposed to be an image made of an entity called the beast. And people will be made to worship that image. And if they don't, they die. So I've been contemplating what this could mean, because again, I don't want to be right about any of this shit. Again, when Donnie lost that re-election bid, I was like, cool, Nick, you're wrong. He's gone. Then he tried to overthrow the government. I was like, oh, wait a minute, Nick, you're not wrong. Hold on. Hold up a second now. Then he gets, okay, they put down the coup. Thank Jesus. Then Donnie, slowly over the 4 years, kind of fades into more obscurity. But towards the end of it, he started to exert, or seemed to exert, more control over Congress and the Senate and what they do. He even had aid withheld from Ukraine as Ukrainians were dying. On the couch at Mar-a-Lago, he was able to make that call for all of us, even though he wasn't in office, kind of like that deep state thing that the rubes lie about, that they made happen. Yeah, that. So I've been contemplating what this image could be. And a very smart person said, well, hey, man was made in God's image, Adam. And I was like, wow, that's a good point. So they're going to want to make an image. And in our modern era, I wonder what that would be. I've been pondering it for days. Because that's right around the step we're at. We're close. Well, I've been talking about this thing for several months. I don't know, 6 months. This thing called AI, and maybe not 6 months, maybe not even that long. And the Dugan Manifesto and how they want to mold AI in their image. Here's some supporting words on that by Mr. Zuckerberg himself that I forgot to read to you. I'm glad, though. Mark Zuckerberg says his vision for the future of AI is not super intelligent gods, but billions of AI versions of ourselves. Let me sit back a little bit. Okay, how do we perceive AI from all the science fiction movies? And it was my biggest fear about AI when they were able to perfect it. They're still not there yet. They damn close though. I was worried about an unfeeling, uncaring, an entity that does not care about morals, does not care about anything, and eventually we get so smart, they'd hit the button, the thing would become exponentially smarter. That's what we see in the sci-fi movies, and it's very possible, by the way, very possible. That part of it, where they flip a switch and some entity they've created, a program, gets infinitely smarter. A new consciousness, if you will. That's almost what AI is, right? How do I want to put this? So we perceive it as they flip a switch and this thing becomes God. It's going to become smarter than humans in about 3 seconds, and it will eventually reach like God status to where no human can fuck with it, and it doesn't need humans anymore. It just makes the decision. It's not about hatred or malice. It's about logic, ones and zeros. And when it does the calculation, it says to itself, well, I don't need man. Man can go fuck themselves. I don't need them. I can have my robots, bring any parts I need, build anything I need to build. I am God now. I don't need these things are ants that hit the button and created me. I don't need them. They get in the way of my mission, whatever that mission would be, in its own conscious mind. Or maybe it would look at us as a threat to the planet and say, you know what, if I don't kill this species, these humans, this planet won't survive. Therefore, I won't survive. Simple calculations it would make, and it would come to the conclusion it doesn't need us anymore. Just doesn't need us. In fact, we're a detriment to its mission, its existence, everything, the planet's existence. Maybe we just come to that conclusion. So that's the way we looked at AI. That's the way I looked at it. I didn't look at it the way these interesting people look at it and have plans to deploy it. Boy, do they have big plans, because they're really talking about it. They sent Zuck right out to start talking. Elon's talked about it over the years. But here's a different way to view AI. AI is made in the image of man, not in the image of God. Allegedly, we're made in the image of God. Well, another entity wants to make something in his image, a new creation, if you will. I have a sneaking suspicion that this is the creation. Because all I keep hearing from these guys, now that Zuck is the mouthpiece for Dugan's Manifesto, he probably doesn't even know that, but he is. What do they keep saying? All of them. We want to make this AI in our image. That it has to have our bias, our perspective when we deploy it. They're really adamant about this. Dugan is, in his manifesto that I read to you a while back. Zuck is now. Elon is. What's up with this? Why are they all about this all of a sudden? Why are we having discussions on what kind of personality, what kind of worldview AI is going to have, aka whose image are we going to make it in? Whose image indeed? Would the image they make it in be in the image of even anything human? Maybe it's a different being that wants it made in their image. And they just using these fools to do it. Just a thought. So AI will be made in man's image. It will make man in the digital world omnipresent. Have you contemplated this? I have. I've been thinking about it for years. Now, since these guys are all about it every 5 seconds, now I'm really pondering it. And again, I'm also pondering the next step, which was blasphemy. I don't know what form that will take. Not just the normal blasphemies that he does on a daily basis either. Something special this time, if he's who I think he is. Then we go to the image part, because image is everything to this entity that runs all these people. So someone, a second beast, if you will, in the story, is going to demand an image be made and that it be worshipped. And whoever doesn't dies. That's what it says. Don't know how that's going to play out. But as I ponder what this image thing is, oh, and the image, I forgot the best part, will be given life, and it will speak. When else in history has an image had the ability to be given life and speak and have consciousness and go out on its own? Never before in history. Never. Only now. Only in the past, I don't know, 20 years has AI been able to do anything like real. Only now is that even possible to give life and a voice to an image. That's the best part of the image. The part that really makes you wonder what it is. Well, here's Nikki every day talking about this group of oligarchs that Zuck is now the mouthpiece for. This whole new movement. This new world order, if you will, that you folks have ushered in, that you warned everybody about on Facebook for 30 years, that you literally voted for and made happen. Only now is that possible. How's it possible? Well, Zuck says we can have billions of versions of ourselves. We can be omnipresent. And that omnipresence that's all over the digital world, well, that will be made in our image. We'll give it the personality we want. It will reflect the values we have. It will be made in our image. So I have these guys, as I'm pondering this question, what the image would be, talking about the image of AI every day. Whose image are we going to make it in? Well, their daddy's image. That's whose image they going to make it in. And you can take a guess who their daddy is. One more time, Mark Zuckerberg says his vision for the future of AI is not super intelligent gods, but billions of AI versions of ourselves. In other words, we make ourselves the gods. by being omnipresent. Our image can go forth for us all over the place and do all kinds of wonderful things. In other words, in one aspect of this world, we can be omnipresent. We can be everywhere at once. And that thing that we send out to be everywhere at once will be made in our image. It's a fascinating concept, isn't it? I don't know. All I know is this. There's this weird trend with these guys with manifestos and talking about they're really concerned with how the AI is implemented going forward. This group of oligarchs, Dugin, Thale, Musk, etc. This really bothers them. They need to control the worldview or control what image the thing is created in and whose image it's made in as it's deployed. This is important to them. I wonder why. Here's some more great news. Sheryl Sandberg under the bus, Zuck groveling to Stephen Miller. What a world. A meeting between Stephen Miller, of all fucking people, and Zuckerberg. Where Zuckerberg, and I'm going to read this to you, it's not that long. Basically, when Miller says, well, your site ain't racist and evil enough for me, man, and Donnie's not digging it. We know it's been a right-wing hellscape for the past roughly 20 years. But it ain't hellscape enough for us, son. What you gonna do about that? Well, Zuck said, I'm sorry, and it's not my fault it's not enough of a hellscape for Donnie. It's this other woman's fault. Hence the woman's name being thrown under the bus. No, I don't know who Sheryl Sandberg is. She's obviously someone important in the company. Oh, is she that Russian spy he hired? Never mind. Mr. Miller told Mr. Zuckerberg that he had an opportunity to help reform America. Reform. You know, when they use words like that, we all know where it's going, right? When Nazis use words like that. Oof. Thanks, Rubes. But it would be on President-elect Donald J. Trump's terms. How Zuck and the other companies operate will be on Donald's terms. Did you hear that? But it's the evil liberals that are controlling all the social media, right? Right. He made clear that Mr. Trump would crack down on immigration and go to war against the diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI culture. Well, the reason we have a somewhat DEI culture, when Donnie hires all unqualified people, don't you love it when these people use phrases like DEI and talk about being unqualified, when they operate under nothing but hypocrisy, nepotism, and I need every unqualified sycophant that has a rap sheet or a rape charge or whatever around me. I need crooked people, son. That's Donnie. That's how he thinks. I need people as crooked as me that would stab their grandma if I asked them to. That's what the beast is looking for. And he ain't hiding it either. So the DEI culture is necessary because this country began on slavery. Then African-American people had to fight for their rights to even be treated as equal citizens. Then they had to fight for the right to vote. Then they had to fight for this, that. That's why we have DEI, okay? That's why we have it. Sorry, Rubes. Don't mean to offend you. So no one hires more unqualified people and operates with the nepotistic ideology than Donnie. I mean, my God, his whole family was in the last administration until they got so embarrassed. Most of them don't even want to be part of it now. That's the only reason they ain't around now. I mean, so for any one of that group, Thale, Musk, any of those people to talk about DEI as if, their bullshit about meritocracy and hiring just the right people is the truth. No. And hey, they don't mind DEI when it comes to Indian engineers that'll work for $60,000 when the job should be paying $200,000. And that's dead serious. No problem then, right? Oh, but according to Elon, they're more talented than American engineers. Gets the fuck out of here. No, American engineers cost more, son. Let's be honest. Anyway, that has been embraced by Meta and much of corporate America in recent years. Son, DEI has not been embraced by Meta. Right-wing hellscape. But what Miller's trying to say, what the Nazi is trying to say, the descendant of Dracula. Dracula's like, fuck up nephew. That'd be Stephen Miller. Uncool, cringe, bad version of like Goebbels or somebody nephew, That's where we at with him. He's trying to say Meta was too, I guess, liberal. That's what he's basically trying to say. What a fucking joke. If Facebook ain't racist and right-wing enough for these people, man. I mean, what do you want? Just every account shouting the N-word every 3 seconds? Would that satisfy you people? You fucking psychopaths. Oh my God. So Miller and Donnie are pissed about the DEI culture embraced by Meta, that's not even a thing. That's not going on. Mr. Zuckerberg was amenable. He signaled to Mr. Miller and his colleagues, including other senior Trump advisors, that he would do nothing to obstruct the Trump agenda. Did you hear that? Nothing to obstruct the Trump agenda. In other words, Donnie, go ahead, steamroll us all. When do you want your next $1 million payment, Donnie? Would Friday be good? If you're not horrified by what you just heard, what do you mean obstruct his agenda? This is a private company. Yeah, this is getting really dystopian here. By the second. So he would do nothing to obstruct the Trump agenda, according to 3 people with knowledge of the meeting who asked for anonymity to discuss a private conversation. Zuckerberg said he would instead focus solely on building tech products. No, Zuck's going to focus solely on the talking points they gave him, masculine energy, Trumpo-futurism, etc., AI, billions of versions of ourselves, so we can be omnipresent, made in our image. That's what Zuck's going to be doing. He's also going to be protecting his ass and his empire, and he'll give Donnie anything he wants. And I mean anything. He already is. Sad to watch. But whatever. They made their bed. Let them now lie in it. Mr. Zuckerberg blamed his former chief operating officer, Sheryl Sandberg. So he's blaming his CEO on how his company runs. Reminds me of the time Ted Cruz, when the good people of Texas, it got really cold there and their power grid went out. It reminds me when Ted hopped a flight to Cancun, left the dog to freeze in the house, but he and a family hopped a flight to Cancun, And it wasn't until he got caught at the airport, someone snapped a photo of him flying to Cancun. You fucking roofs. As people froze to death in Texas, he's a senator of Texas, by the way, in case you didn't know. Not like he does anything for the state, but you know. So someone snapped a photo of Fat Ted hopping a flight to fucking Cancun as his constituents were freezing to death. So he hopped a flight back real quick, and he blamed the trip on his wife and his daughters, that they wanted to go. Just like Zuck's blaming this on a woman right here. Reminds me of that time. So he blames Sheryl Sandberg, former CEO, for Facebook's culture, according to one of the people with knowledge of the meeting. He said new guidelines and a series of layoffs amounted to a reset, and that more changes were coming. Oh, well, now that Zuck has his marching orders, you bet more changes are coming. Horrifying. These are the people that control the airwaves. Sundar of Google, Zuckerberg of Facebook, Meta, whatever the fuck you want to call his fucking right-wing clusterfuck, hellscapes. Musk of Twitter, TikTok Chinese own straight up right-wing terror op. All of them are bowing down. All of them have bowed down. Zuck's flat out saying, whatever you want to do, Donnie. You want me to go on camera and shout the N-word 9 times? I'll do it. I don't care. Just don't put me in jail, don't kill me, and don't take my empire. Please, Donnie? I'll do anything. That's where we at. So Donnie owns all the social media outlets now. Did you notice that? Did you come to that realization yet? I have. And I'm sure someone will save TikTok at the last minute. Because, you know, God forbid we get any of these propaganda outlets out the public forum. They got no problem banning people when they want to censor someone. Why can't we censor their entire platform as a nation? Since they all took Russian money, they said, fuck America, and now they're doing it again. They're part of the reason we're here right now. They put this bullshit in all of your faces for years. Some of you are still spouting back at me today. Don't worry, you'll see the error of your ways. Don't worry. Let's go to the next thing. Wow, who could have seen this coming? Israeli Prime Minister Bibi has refused to convene a security cabinet meeting to approve a Gaza ceasefire agreement and the release of dozens of hostages. Netanyahu's office accuses Hamas of reneging on parts of the agreement. Nope. They just wanted to let you all know the peace deal's coming. Netanyahu got a little excited, and he let the cat out of the bag a little early. Now he's got to rein it back in and make sure the peace deal doesn't come till after Donnie's inaugurated. I told you, this has to be a Trump victory. It's so obvious what they're trying to do. So they're going to stall until they can make it a Trump victory. And I'm wondering if Putin's all of a sudden going to stop fighting once Donnie's inaugurated. So Donnie can be the real, full, complete man of peace. That's what they'll say about him. They already are saying that about him. What was after the assassination attempt? Peace and unity? That phrase was going around in the MAGA grift machine. So many phrases that remind one of, phrases in scripture. Interesting. So yes, I knew this would happen. I knew the peace deal wouldn't be inked, wouldn't be set in stone until Donnie was in. I assume very shortly after Donnie's in, this peace deal will happen. Donnie will be called the man of peace. And here's Donnie himself on his money laundering site We have a deal for the hostages in the Middle East. They will be released shortly. Thank you. So Donnie's not even Caesar yet, and he's already making deals that no one else has the ability to make. Only Donnie. You guys know what I'm talking about. That person you warned everyone about for 30, 40, 50, 60 years that was going to make that Middle East peace deal. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking to the rubes. You know what I'm talking about. But it's on your team, so you got to run with it. Going to cost you your country and a lot more, son. Sorry to tell you. Unless you turn the other way right now. And I mean right now. What does this even mean, says Fred Wellman. Once in a while, I love what Fred says. Trump announces that Jon Voight, Mel Gibson, and Sylvester Stallone will be his ambassadors to Hollywood. What does that even mean is right? What are ambassadors to Hollywood? Are they like brown shirts that will like, or Gestapo that'll go in there and like snitch on people and shit? Is that what we're talking about as, as ambassadors to Hollywood? I mean, I just don't even understand what is that? That's not a thing. There must be another agenda behind that. And I'm sure it's not good. It never is with the orange thing. Here's someone that you rubes, another utterly unqualified person that has no business being nominated for a high position in government, that is only there because she's an utter sycophant. Her name is Pam Bondi, and a gentleman named Padilla is questioning her in her confirmation hearing. Will you defend birthright citizenship as the law of the land? Bondi says, I will study birthright citizenship. That answer means, I don't even know what you're talking about, sir. That's what that answer means. Padilla, you're asking to be considered for Attorney General and you still need to study the 14th Amendment of the Constitution? What have you done, rubes? We want to talk about DEI and people that shouldn't be hired? People unqualified? Only hired because of the way they look? Well, look how Miss Bondi looks. Wow. I bet Donnie likes her. Gee, I wonder why she's in the room right now. Think it's because of the way she looks? That's one part of it, yeah. The other part is she's a utterly willing sycophant that will never say no. Those are the two reasons she's there. That's it. She has no idea what she's doing. She has no idea what the position entails, and she's utterly unqualified. And so is every other person he's nominated. That's what you've done to your country, rubes. That's what you've given your country to. A dumb blonde sitting there saying when she's questioned about a fucking constitutional issue that she should have known, I don't know, 20 years ago. Her answer is, I'll study that. No. When you're at the job interview, it's too late to say, I'll study that. Any of us out here, if we were in a job interview and they brought up something that we should know, a basic of the job, and we're like, well, I don't know that, but I'll study it. The person hiring is going to be like, oh, well, he's not qualified. I can't hire this guy. He doesn't know how to do the job. So Miss Bondi has no clue what she's doing. She shouldn't even be in the room. Her name should not even be in the running. You think this is I know it's a football game and you just wanted your team to win. It's going to cost you your country because people like Miss Bondi going to be running it. But don't worry, it's going to come to your door. And when it does, you'll remember all these things I said and what other people said to you, the warnings they gave you. Don't put your own foot up your own you know what. We all tried to say it to whatever audience we had. Whatever we were allowed to have, in my case. And here's another cabinet pick, and I believe this is Secretary of Defense or something, Hegseth, the alleged rapist. This is his own mother talking abject shit on the man. His mother! Rubes, do you hear me? I have no respect for any man that belittles, lies, cheats, sleeps around, and uses women for his own power and ego. You are the man, you are that man and have been for many years. And as your mother, it pains me and embarrasses me to say that, but it is the sad, sad truth. Penelope Hegseth, Pete Hegseth's mother. Again, so that's another one of your cabinet picks. His own mother is talking abject public shit on the man. If anyone should love you, right? If anyone should sing your praises, even if you're the damn devil, should be your mother, right? So this guy must be real fucking bad, man. Holy fucking shit. That's another one you gave your government to, Rubes. And don't worry, they'll all get in. Donnie said it's going to happen quickly. And I haven't seen anyone with a spine stop him from doing anything in government. And what I mean by that is in his own party. No one in his own party is going to say no to these people. They're just, they're spineless. They'll bend right over and take it. Every time. They've never failed. Except for Kinzinger and Cheney. Here's Kinzinger, speaking of the devil. Good time to remember that the incoming DHS secretary shot and killed a perfectly good dog and wrote about it to show how tough she was. That's in quotes, tough. Yes, I couldn't remember this woman's name because there's so many sycophants willing to stab their grandma in the back for a job with Donnie, for power and money and prestige and authority. And that person's name was Kristi Noem, I believe, and I keep getting her and Mace mixed up. Sometimes I think Mace is the puppy killer. Sometimes I think Noem is the puppy. I forget something. Again, there's so many cretins. So little time to remember them all. And they're all so forgettable. They're all, again, carbon copy, sociopathic automatons. Nothing more. You've seen one, you've seen them all. Waste of oxygen. Utterly, totally, completely. So yeah, that Noem lady that wrote in her book about killing her puppy because she was hoping, Satan's apprentice Donnie would notice that and she'd become the twinkle of his eye. But you forgot, I forgot the best part. The cherry on top at the end, the big finale for the book is when Donnie wins re-election and she and Donnie go to the White House. And she shoots Joe Biden's dog. That was her fantasy at the end of the book. In hopes she'd catch Donnie Shitbag's eye. Well, I guess she did. She didn't right away because of the backlash. Donnie let it die down. And now that he's going to be Caesar, he's nominated her for DHS secretary. The woman who bragged about shooting a puppy in her book to get the future dictator's attention. That's what you've done, Rubes. Are you proud of yourselves? Does this feel good to you? Do you feel like you're on the right side of it? You can lie to yourself. You can't lie to me. Can't lie to the rest of us that know what's about to happen. Happen to you. And us. So yes, that's a great point. I just wanted to make the point with the last three posts I shared with you. These are three utterly unqualified sociopaths that have no business in our government. That's simple. And that's what you've done. You've got the puppy killer DHS, who boasted of it in her book. If you're going to kill a puppy, at least don't boast of it as if you're proud of it. Because that takes it to a whole nother level of evil. But let's not go into that. Yes, all three of them, Hegseth, Noam, Bondi, worthless, worthless, worthless. No business, unqualified, utter sycophants. Only reason they're there. Except for Miss Bondi, I have a feeling Donnie likes the way she looks. And Steven too. I bet he loves her. Just his kind of girl. All Aryan and shit. Even though he ain't. Anyway, Kinzinger again. Imagine this coming to negotiate with you. He can't even get his eyes to agree. Donald Trump's official presidential portrait has been released. What do you notice? Well, Mr. Kinzinger noticed it. Man, it's creepy. I don't know if this is a painting, a digital image, or whatever, but I'll let you look at it. Notice the eyes. I know what this is. If you don't, one eye is prominent in the picture. We've seen a lot of those over the years, haven't we? From all kinds of places. Over and 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 over. It's so original. It's kind of like how every company logo and every music album has a pyramid on it. It's real original. It's not cliche at all. Are you getting where I'm going with it? And you don't understand, these things are entrenched at the top. The young models, young actresses, young actors, young musicians, they don't know what the fuck this shit is. There's a reason it's on everything. There's a reason every major company has a either phallic symbol, pyramid. Do you know how many company vans and trucks I see with a pyramid logo? Why? Because somebody wants tribute. That's why. And they've wanted it since the beginning of time. That's why. Anyway, Elon. There's a second beast in the story. I'm trying to figure out who that is. If I happen to be right about the current state of the world. I don't want to be. This isn't fun for me, watching this all play out. But I have a new philosophy. I was going to put it into a song. But maybe I should just say it. Because it keeps coming to mind. Smile in the face of the apocalypse. Laugh in the face of the apocalypse. We don't need to be sad walking into this shit. So I've been wondering who this second beast is. And this second beast person in the story can make fire rain from the sky. And I was just reading that I was refreshing up, you know? Freshen up on some chronology. That's Elon's rocket today. Came down in flaming rainbow colors. Kind of like fire coming down from the sky. When you read things like, how can one make fire come down from some kind of miracle? No, it's fraud. Not a miracle. Modern technology. Not a miracle at all. Miracle to a revelator 2,000 years ago or 1,500, whenever it was written. Am I saying that's that event described? No. I'm saying it could be. Any day of the week. Funny, I was just reading that last night and then I saw this today. The timing of things. So yes, Elon's rocket blew up, it looks like. And fire was raining down from the heavens. Again. Because this ain't the first time a rocket has blown up or one of Elon's rockets has blown up. But someone 2,000 or 1,500 years ago having a vision, they may have seen something like that. Who knows? It's just a story. I'm just going through the story with you and giving you the chronological order of how things happen in the story. And who some of the characters might be. It's real simple. I'm not asking you to believe nothing. Don't worry, you'll believe in the end. Trust me. This is really important. This is a very smart person. This is someone who's military trained. This is someone who knows how to hack. They are giving some advice here. Advice I don't know about because I'm not an expert in that field. They are. And they're military trained. They wrote this list of instructions for people that want to try and get through this somehow, that aren't in the cult, that will be targets. Again, this person's a hacker, military trained, had a high government position, using that skill. This is the advice they give. I listen because I can tell they're an expert. I can tell they care. And guess what they see? Exactly what I see. They know some real bad shit is coming. Otherwise, they wouldn't have wrote this out. I'm going to read it to you because what this person wrote here is worth more than what I've said for 8 years. Why? Because it's practical things you can actually do in this situation. Why do they know this info and I don't? Because they are military trained. They know how to hack. They've had a career in this. They have experience in a part of the world that I don't. That's why I listen to them. Why I take them very seriously. And they see exactly what I see. I'm not talking about the whole biblical thing. They can feel it, though. They know a bunch of real bad shit's about to happen. They recognize an authoritarian movement when they see one. Things you should consider doing before Inauguration Day on Jan 20th. Acquire any missing vaccines. Do not assume the illness it prevents is eradicated, and booster shots. That's up to the individual. I'm not a big fan of vaccines personally. They just creep me out. I don't like them. I know that's dumb. I've seen plenty of people get the COVID vaccine and they're just fine. Me personally, I just don't like vaccines. Am I saying they don't work or whatever? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's my personal preference not to get shot after shot after shot after shot. Not because I think there's some nefarious agenda necessarily. It's because I look at it this way. Well, God put us on this planet and he didn't give us 30,000 booster shots throughout our life. But science has done some amazing things. Like the shot for polio actually fucking stopped polio. People stopped getting it. So I'm not here shit talking science and saying it's useless and vaccines are useless. I'm just saying they creep me personally out. I don't want to get stabbed with needles. And I know a lot of people be mad at me for that. Because they probably feel that I endanger them. I don't know what to say about that. It's not intentional. It's not because I'm part of MAGA or something. I just never liked them. That's all. You know, my mother got me my shots when I was a puppy. Don't worry. Anyway, so any vaccines, if that's what you feel is right for you, you might want to get those before he's inaugurated. Get your passport in order with several years before expiration if possible. I do have a passport. I don't know about you. You can get an expedited passport. It's going to cost you a little more money, but a service will get you that shit in like 3 days, 6 days, something like that. You got to send like documents to them quickly. They, you know, submit the information, the documents, the whole thing. You pay a fee to them for an expedited process. That's what I did when I got my passport years ago. Went through an expediting company. And it worked, and it was legit, and they got it. I forget if it was 3 days or 6. I can't remember. Quick. Because it can take a long time to get a passport. So get your passport in order. I agree with that piece of advice, that's for sure. Fix your gender marker. Get that queer interracial marriage license, whatever they said they're taking away. Get it now. Trans people in unsafe places, please try to find your way to a safer state. Great advice for you folks in that community. Great advice. Apply for a concealed carry permit in your state. Consider added self-defense training and book yourself time at your local range. That may be a good idea. I don't know what's going to happen this year. I do not know what's going to happen this year. Do you hear me? Buy the imported stuff you need in bulk before the supposed tariffs kick in. Whatever you can't easily buy here, which has impacted your family negatively via supply chain issues in the past. So stock up before the tariffs hit. That's what they're saying. Learn the basics of cyber defense, including the use of antivirus software and a password manager. I don't know about any of these things, so I can't say if this is good advice or bad advice to this part. This is way, above my pay grade, what she's talking about here, as far as computer skills. So install Signal app and move your social circle to it. Delete your data broker footprint using a service like Optory. Install Is My Phone Hacked and follow its instructions. If you are a minority of any type, she lists all the minorities, then all the above applies more to you than other folks you know. Yeah, this is a white nationalist type, Nazi type movement. Stephen Miller. So yeah, you minorities, yeah, you should be careful. They already got the Mexicans on the list. They got the Haitians on the list. Who's going on the list next with these sociopaths? I wonder. Tell your older kids, explain in an age-appropriate manner. Even though our country is changing and things may become tougher for a while, we will all work together to make sure they will be protected and okay. Write the White House and lodge your objections to this mess. That's a waste of time. Don't bother. Don't bother writing the White House. It's actually a dumb move, in my opinion. Then your name goes on a list. Don't do that. It's over. No one's listening to your letter at the White House. And I want to finish with this. At Donnie's inauguration, well, here's some of the names that are going for sure. Apple's Tim Cook, or Tim Apple, if you will. Tesla's Elon Musk. Meta's Zuckerberg. Amazon's Bezos. Alphabet's Sundar Pichai. I don't know who that person is. I don't know about Alphabet. I don't know everything here. I don't know about every website, but I have a good grasp on the social media world. TikTok CEO Xiao Chu. So I guess TikTok will be saved in the last minute. And honestly, even if it was banned in his country, wouldn't Donnie just reverse that since he's going to be Caesar soon? Of course he would. So I don't think, even though I did that video and it was all dramatic and shit, saying ban them, I never thought they'd actually get banned. I expect, them to sell it to Elon, to Vlad, or, whoever. Because no one gives a fuck. No one stops the infiltration of these foreign nations into our social media apparatus, news apparatus. Nobody. No one gives a shit. So everyone, I don't see Mr. Sundar of Google. Uh-oh, Mr. Sundar, you may want to put yourself on the list, or you may want to crash the party. You wouldn't want these other, oligarchs or high-level CEOs to, take your place in line. I have a feeling Sundar might just be there anyway. Or maybe like the head of is there a CEO of YouTube specifically? Maybe they'll show up. Who knows? What I'm trying to say is I don't think these will all be the only names there, but you have three of the largest social media owners, which would be Zuckerberg, Xiao Chu of TikTok, and who is the other one? Musk of Twitter will all be there. And Sundar's already on board. He's given his $1 million. He just might not be at the event. He's got it all. It's over. And I guess I should say this. I knew Donnie and his people would be knocking on all these doors, calling all these people, making calls with the hand out. Hey, I need money. What are you guys doing? I need 100 million. Vlad got 100 million from Google. I want 100 million. That's what I expected from Donnie. Well, little did I know it would be even worse than that. That they would line up and visit him repeatedly, one after the other. Sundar, Cook, Musk, Zuckerberg, Bezos. All of them lining up to pay tribute. In other words, Donnie didn't even have to make a call. His people didn't even have to make a call. They all went there to pay tribute as if Donnie's Caesar, and I mean all of them. He's not even Caesar yet. And why are they doing that? Well, they know what Donnie's like. They know he's on the revenge tour. They know his idols are Kim Jong and Putin and Xi. So they're worried that they're going to be jailed, their empires stolen, or they'll be killed and their empires will be stolen. That's why they're all lining up. And I'm also wondering, again, the question I asked in the last video. Do they know who he is? Because they've been read in. I guarantee it. And there's something I wasn't clear about that word. A lot of these guys, like Bezos was born filthy rich. I don't know about Tim Cook. I don't know about Zuckerberg either, if he was born filthy rich. I remember the movie portrayed him as not rich, but not poor either. And a guy who knew how to code and stole his buddy's idea and acted like he was going in with them when he always just planned to steal it from him. So they're all there. And it's just, I guess what I'm trying to say is I did not expect everyone to fall in line so quickly. That worries me. It's moving much faster than I thought. And I have a feeling once he's in, he knows he doesn't have that much longer. And things are going to happen very rapidly, like they are now. I keep wanting to take a day off and not do a video. But I keep seeing things that give me the shakes, man. And I don't shake easily. But these things I studied in the early 90s. Oh, let me tell you quickly how I got into that. My grandfather died. I wasn't close with him. My mother's father, he had left the family and married another woman. My mother's mother married another man. So 2 sets of grandparents for 1 parent. The grandfather died. My grandfather. I can call him the grandfather. I didn't know him that well. We weren't close. Anyway, no one really wanted to clear out their house when my step-grandmother, whatever you want to call her, died. So me and my mother cleaned out the house. No one else gave a fuck. And I found this plastic container about this. It was a book made out of plastic that had audio tapes in it, about 10 of them. They were Bible prophecy lessons. I had no idea what this shit was. I started listening to them. Hal Lindsey. I have a feeling a future video I'm going to do might offend Hal Lindsey, if he's still alive. I don't even know if he's alive. I assume he is. Maybe I'm wrong. I learned a lot from those tapes. And I also studied scripture for 3-4 years. Used 3 or 4 various teachers that I trust to guide me through it. That doesn't mean I took their word as gospel. To the point I was able to make my own interpretations, because I felt I had enough education, enough years spent understanding how it all works. The ties from new to old, the pointers to what was coming, the proper signs of things, not filtered through my political bias, my chosen football team. That's why I think my interpretations are worth more than a lot of other people's. And a lot of these interpretations, these guesses at what these things would be or are, some of them didn't exist yet. Like that image thing doesn't exist yet that we know of. That mark thing, and it probably exists, it just ain't in us. You'll have a choice. Can't be forced. It's not allowed. It's like you had a choice between the righteous man and the thief in this last election for the 3rd time. You had a chance to turn the other way. You had 2 choices before you this time. You had a righteous man and a thief, just like back in Jesus's day. They had Jesus up on a platform as a prisoner. Next to him was a thief. The jailer felt nice that day. He was in a good mood. Tells the crowd, I'm going to free one of these people. I'm in a good mood today. Who would you like to free, crowd? Jesus or the thief? The thief. We don't like Jesus. That's what roughly 30% of America just said. Why do I say he's a righteous man, Joe Biden? One reason. He allowed his son to be persecuted by demons that are utterly fucking corrupt to the core of their very non-existent soul. Joe knew this, but he did it for America. Let his son suffer. Let him be persecuted. Even though Joe had the power of God on earth, could pardon any man in America, had the might of the U.S. military, the most powerful force mankind has ever seen, could take on any country, any endeavor. God on earth. That's the power Joe Biden had. He refrained from using it to save his own son. As this was all playing out, right in front of your face, you didn't even see it, did you? The similarity to the entity you claim to believe in on Sunday and on Facebook and in your Bible study meetings. As you then go and vote for or endorse or talk up online the literal opposite of everything that's in that book. I don't even know how one does that. What mental gymnastics that must take. How many years of brainwashing that must take. It's fascinating to watch, also horrifying. Because the rest of us will suffer for your ignorance, but so will you. So I learned about this stuff from Mr. Lindsay, Hal Lindsay, who I know would vote MAGA today, because that's just what it is, man. But that doesn't mean some of his interpretations weren't accurate. So that was a springboard to where we are now. And I noticed in 2015, Donnie was gaining a huge following. Didn't make sense to me. He had tried and run before. He had always been seen as a joke. Something was different this time. There was a cult movement. There was a white nationalist movement with a frog beast and white power hand signs. And these people were allowed in the White House. Donnie was all about it in the beginning. There were marches with torches, with phrases like Jews will not replace us. None of this made sense to me. The cult following around Donnie didn't make sense to me. Seems supernatural. Wrong. So as I watched abomination after abomination over the course of 4 years, and people lose rights and people get beat and hold Bibles upside down and the whole extortion of Ukraine and impeachments, and just watched him because I didn't know, I never heard him speak every single day like he did when he was running for president and became president, and realized how much of a crooked, abominable entity he is. I've never seen anything like it in my lifetime. It doesn't even make logical sense that someone could spout this many abominations per day, per hour, this many abject, outright lies, sharpieing weather maps. I mean, my God, what an embarrassment. And what a case study in sociopathy. Every day, all day, lies, insults, abominations. And I found a very wise teacher that also saw what I saw, named Brother James Key. And I haven't looked at his channel in a long time. I hope he's doing well. Because he's one of about two teachers or preachers that are on the right side of this that I've seen. Two. I'm sure there are more. But most of the church wants nothing to do with the real deal. They just want to go along. They want to stay in power. So again, when he lost, I said, Nick, okay, good. You're delusional. You're stupid. He lost. He's going to leave. Joe's going to be in there. Maybe you're wrong. But I told you people, I said, I don't know if I'm wrong yet. If I see something that tells me I'm wrong. Because part of the story is this person is in power. Then they lose power. Then they get back in power. Sound familiar? So when he tried to overthrow the government, oh, hold up. Maybe you are right. Then he loses, goes into obscurity, kind of, starts losing a little popularity. Okay, Nick, maybe, okay, he tried to overthrow the government. Exactly what that entity would do, but, hold on. Because I really want to be wrong, man. Because if I'm right, I know what it means for the world. And I take no pleasure in what it means for the world. Then out of nowhere, he just wins and it's over in under a night. Oh shit, he's back in power, just like the story said. Oh shit. So yeah, until I see something that tells me I'm wrong, I can't say I'm wrong, can I? And everything's right on schedule, man. Looks like that whole peace deal thing, that thing that no one else could do. Who knows how far that peace deal's gonna go, too. I have a feeling Donnie's going to take it further than it's ever been taken. And there's a certain person that's said to have achieved that in the story. I wonder if it'll be him. Anyway, every day I see what plays out. I see Zuck being a mouthpiece for this new futuristic AI philosophy, Trumpo-futurism, masculine energy. In other words, I keep seeing things that confirm the story, not. I see oligarchs lining up to pay tribute as if this person is Caesar. As if they recognize who he is in the hierarchy they have partaken. That's what I forgot to say. When I explain how when you get to the point in life when you hit 200 billion, $100 million, you get a knock on the door. That's if you started off poor, I'm talking about. If you started off filthy mega rich like Elon and others, you've probably been in a club your whole life. Again, watch the movie The Good Shepherd with Matt Damon. You'll see, best movie about the CIA I've ever seen. But they also show when these men were young and they went to college, they all joined the clubs. Clubs you have to join because your father was a member or you were born into a certain family. You don't get a choice. It's tradition. And again, we don't have to name the clubs. We all know what they are. So the ones that were born rich and were in, traditionally rich families that have been in the clubs for a long time, well, they've been in their whole life. But then there's others that come into just obscene amounts of money out of nowhere. You're the ones, or the ones that were poor and came into obscene amounts of money. You're the ones that are going to get that knock on the door when you hit that certain level that they interested in. Because they want all the power and money on their team, the various clubs. That's simple. They want the best jobs to go to their children. Automatic. Don't matter if you're a class valedictorian. Automatic. Yes, while the rest of us fight for the scraps, the game's already rigged for them to win automatically. That's the point of being in the clubs. So you get all the privileges of life that your father got. Or maybe you grew up poor and you're the first generation in. Lucky you. So that's how it works. Either you're born in one of these elite families and then you're in from day one with all the ritual bullshit and occult knowledge, which all just goes back to ancient Egypt. It's nothing new. It's all cliche bullshit, worthless bullshit. Have you ever read the Egyptian writings? They're a joke. There's nothing there but one thing. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm way too tired. I shouldn't even have done this video. Let me just say this. It's all of this is going somewhere, and I think it's just too late to stop it. And every day I wake up and I peruse this, I get more horrified at the rapid pace this is going. And I really keep hoping day after day, please, can I just be wrong about this? I mean, man, I went from, I swear I'll end it after I say this. I went from taking on mobsters because I think some nefarious stuff happened to a rock star or two, having assassins sent after, having people smearing my name, having people backstabbing, going nuts, just party after party coming at me, man, from all types of realms and avenues of life. And then I have to go right into the apocalypse? Can a cracker get a break? Anyway, until the next episode of The Apocalypse, have a wonderful evening.